New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Boy, that cut out early. Well, good evening to everyone across the United States and also around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled, thrill-packed, and guaranteed, always exciting edition of the Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am the Reverend Michael Mangus, and I am broadcasting this evening from the Attila the Hun radio room, surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts, in an extremely secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so top secret that only one person knows where it's located. Everyone else, especially that Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski guy, my boss, he has no clue where it's located, and we are going to keep it that way. I'll tell you, in the days and times that we live, I'm glad I have a concrete bunker. Well, we do have a wonderful show for you this evening. Please feel free to interact with us by posting your comments on Facebook and also on YouTube. And for all my shy people out there, I know you're out there. Yeah, I know. And you don't want to comment. I get that. All you need to do is write me an email. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. And I read them during the week. All right. So pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So the purpose of our little get together every single week is to relax, put in another log in the fire, have something warm to drink, and to sit by the fire and to talk about contemporary subjects from the New Thought perspective. And as I keep telling and sharing with you week after week, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on in the world. I hear more and more people say, well, I don't pay any attention to the news. I understand that. However, there are some things going on in the world that you need to be aware of. So on this program, we try to bring them to you, hopefully in a humorous, light way. However, the serious part of that is that we want you to know that you are a part. Yes, you are a part of the solution. You are powerful. And so we'll talk more about that in just a moment. But first, we have all the way from the great state of Tennessee, formerly of the great state of West Virginia, we have staff commentator now, not guest.
Oh, I'm
but
staff.
You have graduated to staff commentator You have been on the show probably more than 30 times. So yes, Reverend Brzezinski has told me to tell you that he doesn't have any money to give you, but he will give you a title.
Okay. He couldn't email me this news himself. He was too busy.
No.
Yeah, whatever. All right. I got two things to bring up with you. Two things. First of all,
two things. Okay, go ahead.
Two things. First of all, I don't know what it's like in Akron in your supposedly in this huge defensible concrete bunker.
Right.
I'm sweating bullets down here. My a phrase that my grandmother said once springs to mind is, "My dress caught on fire. It's so hot down here."
Wow.
I got the air conditioning on. Yeah, so I hate having the air conditioning on this early in the year, but I'm telling you what. Second of all,
it really is okay to turn the air conditioner on before Memorial Day. There is no rules that say that you can't.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's the principle of the thing. I want to at least wait until May 1st,
Okay.
I figure, when the Russians are marching down the street in Moscow, that's when you turn, for May Day parade, that's when you turn the air conditioning on.
Isn't 47 going to have a parade like that?
Oh, he wants one. And I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen. But, I mean, that's a total waste of money. You've got that South African expression of divinity.
Yes. Elon Musk. It's okay to say his name.
No. I don't like that. No.
Okay.
He's taking a chainsaw to our government and supposedly saving all this money and spending, and yet Trump wants to turn around and take that supposed savings and pay for a parade. Does he even know the damage that some of these tanks are going to do to the streets of Washington, D.C.?
And that's one of the reasons why they don't have them.
Yeah. Oh, but the second thing that I needed to take up with you, this supposedly secure concrete bunker of yours, named after Attila the Hun. Did you know
that's the radio room.
Oh, whatever.
The radio room is sponsored by Attila the Hun.
Well, why would you want to go with a loser? You know that Attila the Hun was not undefeated. He did lose a battle. He only lost one. He only lost one.
Right, but he was still one bad dude.
Yeah, he was. But it took 200,000 of his Hun forces and invaded Gaul, which is Western Europe.
Right.
And the Romans got together with King Theodoric of the Visigoths, King Theodoric the First, and kicked Attila and the Huns. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. It was they say it's decisive. It was a decisive battle.
But
still, when he lost, but still he lost.
Well, still, Attila the Hun lives on.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, after our show this evening, my boss and your friend, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, will be holding his monthly show called Ask Anything. And he means that, ask anything. So the question I gave to him was, what was the set list for the last Grateful Dead show ever?
He won't remember.
He used to be a Deadhead, by the way.
Well, cannabis use is not known for enhancing one's memory.
Well, anyhow, so
Deadheads, they couldn't even. The reason they followed the Grateful Dead around is because they couldn't remember how to get back home.
Oh, is that the reason?
That's the reason. They sold crystals out of the back of their station wagon for gas money.
A little known fact about me. I attended a Grateful Dead show.
Yeah?
Yeah. They were at the Richfield Coliseum in the 90s. One of their last shows.
Richfield. All right.
All right.
I'm from West Virginia. I'm close enough to know Richfield.
Okay.
Never been there, but there you go. Well, let's get this show on the road. You're wasting
Well,
time.
I was going to say that. Let's like rock and roll here. And like today is Good Friday.
Yes.
Commemorating the crucifixion of Jesus. And there is a surprising reason why it's called Good Friday. And it's not what you expected. And this is from I think it's from The Guardian in the UK.
Mm.
There is a strange story on how Good Friday got its name. Good Friday is the name commonly given in English to the Friday before Easter. This year it falls on April the 18th with Easter Sunday on 4/20. All my marijuana friends will like that date. But did you know how the day got its name? Well,
No.
okay. Well, tell me. Okay. Well, Easter is a Christian holiday. Well, not really. But the church fathers went ahead and plastered it over Easter, which was a pagan fertility holiday. But anyhow, it named days referring to the story of Jesus's crucifixion and resurrection in the Bible. According to the Bible, Jesus was flogged, ordered to carry the cross on which he would be put to death, and then crucified on the day that we now call Good Friday. Now, even though the Bible state that he was resurrected on Easter Sunday, going through all of that on Friday isn't what most people would consider good. But there is a simple reason why they call it Good Friday. And of course, it's the academics that know. Dr. James Holt, who's an assistant professor of religious education at the University of Chester, UK, shared the facts behind the name in a TikTok video. According to Dr. Holt, the reason is quite simple. Good didn't mean the same thing as it does now when the name was given. In fact, good was used to be another word for holy, which is why you might hear the Bible referred to as the good book just as often as it is called the holy book. The experts say that the original meaning of the word good could have also included holy or sacred. In the Old English, this is what it means. It was a day that was holy, it was sacred, it was the most sacred day within the year. So happy Easter with that little cutie there to one and all. And you have my permission here to go out there and to eat a chocolate Easter bunny.
I wish I'd thought about that before my grocery delivery today. I would have ordered one, but
well, no, I wait and I'm like at Halloween or at Valentine's Day. I wait till the day.
Wait till the day after. Yeah.
Yeah, to get it 50% off.
Yeah. Well, all I know is I have been seeing Good Friday, this, that, and the other, and I feel that should be very proud of myself because for a change, I did not make any untoward, unseemly Good Friday jokes, and I've been fighting the temptation all day, but I've been good and I haven't done it.
You are from legal now. Since you did not submit your story of the week for preview by legal. Now, see, legal took off early today. Robert gave legal the day, well, really a half a day, since we had some business in the morning. So he gave them, but anyhow, I got an email from legal saying that you did not submit a story to them, but they told me that because this weekend is the Easter weekend that I can approve the story.
Uh-huh.
And from what you told me,
Uh-huh.
I do approve the story.
Would you like to take a look at your email for Friday, April 11th, sent at 9:44 a.m. 7 days ago? My story for the story of the week. And then you can go tell legal.
Now be nice now.
Yeah.
They have
No.
given you several F-bombs that you could have used on the air, but you didn't.
Well, fuck them. All right. I used one just now. But I did send you an email. Now, you tell everybody that you read your emails during the week. So you
Yes, I
read
do.
everybody else's, but you don't read mine. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I kind of skip over yours. You're right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Do we have to do the news?
Yeah, go ahead. Do something.
We've
already wasted 15
do
minutes.
something even if it's wrong. Well, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is still being detained in a mega prison in El Salvador without due process, even though that the U.S. government conceded that his deportation was a mistake, and despite the rulings of several courts, that he's still down there. Senator Chris Van Hollen managed to meet with Abrego Garcia on Thursday and posted several pictures on social media of their encounter. Now, they wanted to, the El Salvadorians and the regime down there, they wanted to have their meeting by the pool with margaritas to say, hey, everything's cool down here. Everything's fine. Salvadorian President Bukele responded on X and declared that Abrego Garcia will remain incarcerated in El Salvador indefinitely. Abrego Garcia's wife, Jennifer, celebrated when she heard about the senator's meeting with her husband. My children and my prayers have been answered. The effort of my family and community in fighting for justice are being heard because I now know that my husband is alive, she said in a statement. Van Hollen did talk more to the media today. The White House said on social media that Abrego Garcia is not and will never return to the United States. The official X account for the White House posted an edited screenshot of a New York Times article about Senator Chris Van Hollen's meeting yesterday, striking through the original headline to make it read, Senator meets with deported MS-13 illegal alien in El Salvador who's never coming back. First of all, he has been ordered to come back by the Supreme Court, and also that the Supreme Court has told the Trump administration that they have to facilitate him coming back. Now, while Abrego Garcia has not been legally in the U.S. prior to his deportation, a 2019 court order says that he cannot be returned to El Salvador, and the Trump administration admits in court documents that he was deported there due to a clinical error.
Clerical.
Oh, I said clinical, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's clinical.
You need to stop drinking before the show.
Honest to goodness, this is water.
Okay.
Clerical. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Of course there is. Come on, slide. There you go. A mid-commute traffic stop. Now, this young man, Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, is a U.S. citizen. He was born here in the United States. He was initially charged with being an unauthorized alien in Florida, and he has been released after spending the night in jail on a 48-hour hold requested by U.S. ICE amid the Trump administration broad deportation crackdown. The young man was arrested by the Florida Highway Patrol on Wednesday when the car that he was riding in was pulled over for a traffic stop, says his attorney. The American citizen born in Grady County, Georgia, where he lived in the city of Cairo, was crossing into Florida for his work in construction in Tallahassee, about 45 minutes from his home. So what happened was his mother had to take to court his birth certificate to show that he was a U.S. citizen, and they still kept him another 24 hours. Lopez Gomez was released on Thursday evening. Spokesperson Thomas Kennedy, who was at the Leon County Courthouse to assist Lopez Gomez's family, that he told CNN. Kennedy said of the Florida Immigration Coalition, he is free. Thank you to everyone who shared, called, and did anything to help to secure his release. Isn't that interesting? And the quote of the week is from Democratic Representative Jim Clyburn, who spoke at a town hall in South Carolina this week. He says, all we can do is to share with you what we're doing and ask for your prayers that this country will not allow itself to go the way of Germany in the 1930s when people stood by. All of these acts here are morally and ethically wrong, period. The target right now is brown-skinned Latinos. The time to speak up is now, not later, but now. As much as my right-wing friends don't like it when I say it, we are heading down the path of Nazi Germany into complete fascism. That was the complaint from theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer, that the church supported and was complicit with Hitler. Not this time. People from around the United States and around the world are speaking up and out about this insanity going on. And of course, the Trump administration, they're violating court orders. Mm-hmm. And some of those complicit with number 47, some of his deputies may end up in jail because of contempt of court. So I'm encouraging everyone to keep up the pressure. Individuals are changing their minds about voting for Trump. Keep calling your House representative. Keep calling your congressperson, especially the Republican ones here. The reason why Chris Van Hollen managed to meet with Abrego Garcia was because of the pressure that was put on El Salvador, who is managing the concentration camps down there. They're not prisons. They're concentration camps. By the way, how did their dictator get paid to house these prisoners? You ever wonder that? Maybe.
And he's doing it cheap too.
Government gave them money. Go ahead.
He's doing it cheap too. They're only paying him $6 million.
The time for action is now, folks. The time for action is now. Our voices together are making a huge difference. Under our Constitution, you can't lawfully hold someone without due process. Where is the due process here? Even for the other 200 alleged gang members, there was no due process at all. They just rounded it up and just sent them on a plane down to El Salvador, where they're being warehoused. Unbelievable. Your comments, Reverend Jeff.
Well, and not only no due process, but Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, has been asked on numerous occasions to provide the proof that he was a member of what was it, M13? And she can't. She talks around it. She talks about, well, back in 2019, we have testimony from ICE, and we have testimony from this judge, and we have all this testimony. Well, the thing of it is, what she's talking about is ICE and a memo that they wrote about him. There was no testimony in this hearing in 2019. There was no other judge that testified in any way, shape, or there was no testimony, period. All she's doing is lying at her. She's lying. She's lying about this. And they're trying to make it sound like he was this guy, but they can't prove it. That's the thing. That's why he got no due process, because if they had gone through due process, they would have found out that maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was. Who knows? We'll never know now because he didn't go through due process.
Did you hear what was said about Abrigo Garcia this week? Was that there was, I guess, a domestic incident between him and his wife, Jennifer. And that I don't know if it was Pam Bondi or someone said that the young man was better off in El Salvador to protect the wife.
Yeah, that was Pam Bondi, because she also said that the United States people are safer because he's down there now, and even his wife and their child are safer because he's down there. Now, I don't know the ins and outs. I haven't read up that much about the domestic violence aspect of his case, but she wants him back. She wants him home.
Oh, absolutely.
His wife wants him back. So it may have been an argument or whatever. Everybody does that once in a while, but it did not escalate to something that the wife is saying, I don't ever want him back here, because she wants him.
Again, we are going down a very similar path of that of Nazi Germany. And for those who can't see that, I'm really sorry, but we are. So the adults in the room have to speak up and speak out and say enough is enough. And that Bernie Sanders and others, again, are crisscrossing the country, having these huge rallies. There is opposition to this. Now, it's just that we need to keep it nonviolent, okay, because that's something that the right uses against us, is when there is violence. So to keep it peaceful, we do not have to storm anybody's Capitol or break down any doors. But again, we need to put the pressure on our elected officials and keep it on them, especially the Republicans. I really think they're going to cave. I think that there will be, within the next 6 months, several representatives and also several senators that will say, listen, enough is enough. We need to reel this dictator in. Your comments, Jeff Radcliff.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some on the Republican side trying to talk a big game, and then all of a sudden they're backing off from it because retaliation is real, and they don't want retaliated against. They don't want to lose their jobs, is what it amounts to. They're not working for their constituents. They're working to maintain their jobs. And I just saw an article here that I don't think I'd seen before, saying that Kilmar Abrego Garcia reportedly told Senator Chris Van Hollen that he had been moved 9 days ago from the terrorism confinement center to another facility. So what they don't say is that one of West Virginia's senators apparently was at that meeting as well, went down there with him, because there are pictures that show him in front of one of those giant, massive iron doors where they have the bunks stacked up 4 high, doing a thumbs up. So I'm kind of surprised that they don't show that on there. But the fact that he says that he's been moved makes me wonder how long he's going to be moved. And once the heat comes off them in El Salvador, do they move him back?
I don't think that the heat's coming off. Personally, I think that they are going to continue it. That not only the family, but also people in Congress. This is crazy. They're now they're even going after U.S. citizens who can be detained up to 48 hours if ICE says so or anyone else says so. And that they have to prove then in a court of law that they're legally here. His mother had to bring in his birth certificate, of all things, to show that he was an American citizen. This is the time to be concerned and also to keep up the pressure on all of our elected officials. Your comment before we go to break, Reverend Jeff.
You just sparked I do research while we're talking on here, and you said something that reminded me of what Thomas Paine said. He said, "These are the times that try men's souls."
Yes.
Those of us who actually have a soul and a heart care about these things, and we want to see them fixed. We want to see them corrected. We want to see this stuff turned around. It's those, unfortunately, it's those people who say, "Oh, we're better off without those people. Let's lock them up, and who cares what happens to them?" And they're gonna die there. If they're not killed, they're going to die naturally down there. Those are the ones that kind of sort of make you wonder, do you even have a soul? How can you say that? Where is your heart in all this? We were taught by a master rabbi 2,000 years ago, said, love one another.
Oh, you mean that Jesus guy that they crucified?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love one another. But yeah, all these people out there who are wanting this to be a Christian nation, wanting us to be isolated from the rest of the world because we don't want that riffraff in here. These are the ones that are not showing that love, even though they're trying to claim the name and say that they're following him. So it's
one of my high school friends had a born-again experience about 6 or 7 years ago, and he attends a local evangelical church, and he's also a Trump supporter. And I really have not challenged him on that. And that's the reason why I keep putting the post up that I do, is because that all the lies that are out there, especially about this form of Christian nationalism, which we currently have, which I believe my friend is caught up in, which is a cult. All right. It has nothing to do with the teachings of Jesus. It has to do about power. Like Hindu nationalism over in India, like any of the nationalist movements, there's even been Buddhist nationalists. So the whole idea of combining the teachings of a great master along with power, of which none of them taught any kind of earthly power. They said our power is from within us, and we need to go to break.
Yes.
We'll be back right after break with, once again, Reverend Jeff's story of the week.
Week. Echo.
One of my friends from the radio support group, otherwise called the Old Radio Farts Group by Diana, he's going to do some production on that.
Awesome. That'll be great.
Yeah. Well, let's take a brief time out here, and we'll be hearing more from Jeff here in just a moment. Just wanted to remind all of you that this Sunday is Easter Sunday, and you can come join us at Summit Center for Spiritual Living. For more information, go to summitcsl.org. There you will find information about our wonderful Sunday gathering this Sunday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, your big jug of water, and please join us. I really do believe we have really a wonderful service. And this Sunday, we will have as our guest speaker, musician Tim Morrow, who will speak on the miracle of Easter. So just go to summitcsl.org for more information on how you can join our Zoom call. All right. Reverend Jeff's story of the week is next right after these words. You are watching the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience, or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Jeff, where are you? There he is.
I wasn't ready. I needed to get up and close the front door, and it's dark outside now. And and I didn't get it closed. And I peeked my head out to look at the sunset and everything, and then I thought, I got to get back. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm not going to get back in time. So I hurried up and shut off my camera so you wouldn't see me get settled.
Before we go into your story of the week, we have a question here, a theological question.
Oh, cool. Okay.
This is from a longtime friend who I went to school with at St. Martha's Grade School, Deb Chinrock, also known as Deb Beckley. She says, do you guys, not ministers, but do you guys think that this is the time of revelations or just history in repeat? Your comments, Reverend Jeff.
It's history in repeat. The book of Revelation was written basically to the early church because they were expecting a boatload of stuff to go down before the return of Christ. And he never showed up because he told us before he left that the kingdom of heaven is within you, and I'm going to prepare a place for you. I think that there's people who believe that Revelation is the real deal, have misinterpreted Scripture. It was probably never ever meant to be that way. It was written not to Western culture 2,000 years in the future. This was written for people in that culture 2,000 years ago, and they were expecting a boatload of stuff that didn't happen.
Right, and the symbolism was specifically about the Empire of Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know of theologians who've written recently, before the election, about that Trump is a figure of the Antichrist. And again, the Antichrist is not just a it's a figure. It's something that, again, that is not going to happen at the end, whenever that is, but it's a figure that comes up that, again, is anti-Christ or anti the teachings of Jesus. So that's what we're seeing right now is the Antichrist right now in Donald Trump. Now, are we going to have to put 666 on our forehead? Well, again, people say, well, that MAGA, that MAGA hat, make America great again, that's the American form of 666. However, again, who wrote Original Blessing? That was
oh geez.
That's Matthew Fox.
That was Matthew Fox.
Right. Well, Matthew Fox, his latest book is about Trump being the Antichrist. So to answer Deb's question, no, I think that we are going through a period of history here that I think that we are all here at this time to be empowered, to shed and to share our light with the world, and to not let people get away with it this time, like they did in Nazi Germany and other times in history. So that's, again, that's why we're saying here that we are in a moral and ethical crisis, and that there is a way out. And the way out is everyone speaking up and speaking out. Your comments, Jeff Radcliff.
Well, first of all, we also need to realize that the Bible is not a history book. The Bible and a lot of what's in it, written by folks who were they were ignorant herders there for the longest time before they settled down and started to farm a little bit. But the thing of it is, the way that they teach in the Middle East is by parable.
Yes.
They still do that to this day.
Absolutely.
By parable. One thing stands for another. It's not, it's not really something that happened, but it teaches a lesson.
Right.
Like the prodigal son. There were probably 24 kids that took what they could of their father's wealth, went off, spent it in riotous living, then ended up down on their luck and have to come crawling home. There's not just one kid there.
Right.
Okay? It could have been a million kids, or it could have just been, him making up a character. Interestingly enough, Neville Goddard talked about how none of the people in the Bible actually lived. They are characters that portray characteristics, attributes of ourselves.
Right.
That we, in essence, are all the characters in the Bible. So when you read the story of Esther and you see how she rose to the occasion to save the Jewish people, that's a part of me. That's a part of you.
Right.
When you read about Zacchaeus climbing up the tree so he can see Jesus when he goes by, that's you. That's me. All of those characters, are us. And so in that respect, using the Bible for literal interpretation should not be taken internally.
Deb has another comment. She says, it's that Catholic upbringing, Pastor Michael, and you can appreciate that. Thank you. Deb was born at the same hospital. She was born on April the 2nd, and I was born on April the 3rd. So she reminds me all the time, I am older than you.
So yeah, you both were April Fool's jokes.
We were.
Just close enough, yeah. I'm just kidding, Deb. Don't hate me.
Thanks for watching, Deb, very much. Okay. We've put it off long enough. Ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand, it's Reverend Jeff's story of the week.
I like
Go ahead.
Echo better. Wow. So much going on in the news, and I found this out of my home state of West Virginia back in March. They passed a law banning a bunch of food dyes and additives. And everybody points to what's his name, Kennedy, to him saying, "Oh, we need to make America healthy again." Well, this is their tip of the hat to him, so to speak, and passed this ban with food dyes and preservatives that are going to be going away from foods that are going to be either made or imported and sold in West Virginia. Here's the thing. Everybody's worried about the pepperoni roll. And I love talking to non-West Virginians because most people who are not from West Virginia or who have never been there have never heard of pepperoni rolls. And all it is, and it's exactly like what it says. A man by the name of Giuseppe Agiro, they called him Joe, invented them in 1927. Well, he actually monetized the idea. The idea came about from Italian wives who were looking for some things that they could put into their husbands' lunch pails when they went down into the coal mines, things that wouldn't need to be refrigerated or heated up later on, something that was going to be shelf stable. So they, took pepperoni. You can make it with sliced pepperoni, or you can buy a stick of pepperoni and quarter it and put these sticks of pepperoni into the roll, bake the roll, and it's absolutely awesome. It is the state food of West Virginia. But people are worried about our pepperoni rolls going to be banned because of what's in them.
No.
Now, most pepperoni rolls do not have artificial dyes in them. They get their coloring from the paprika that's used in the making of the meat. Sometimes they even use a little bit of cayenne. So that's where the color comes from. So really, there's not much in the way of dyes in pepperoni as a meat. However, there are brands of pepperoni that are out there that have, and let me pull up the list of the additives. I'm going to murder these. Butylated hydroxyanidol and propylparaben.
Okay.
These are preservatives. And so these are what you have to really worry about when it comes to pepperoni. But there are there are a number of bakeries, Italian bakeries in West Virginia that already do not use any pepperoni with these BHA preservatives in them. But those that do have a grace period. They have until January 1st, 2028 to start using pepperoni that does not have the preservatives in it. I even saw a list of grocery stores in West Virginia, everything from Walmart to Kroger to, these little mom and pop places. And some of them carry preservative-free pepperoni. Most do not. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to West Virginia's state food.
There will be riots in the street.
There should be.
If there are no more pepperoni rolls down in West Virginia. Now will they ban them? Hold it. Now, will they ban them also in Ohio too?
If they're not going to be legal in West Virginia, I can't imagine that they would say, "Oh, well, you can, keep the preservative pepperoni, the preservative filled." I guess that's not the right word. The pepperoni that uses the preservatives, you can use those so that you can send to Ohio and Pennsylvania and places like that. I don't see that happening.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I will tell you.
Okay.
I can give you a list of some of the best Italian bakeries in the North Central West Virginia region. My favorite, though, I go back to Joe Argiro. He and his family started Country Club Bakery in Fairmont, West Virginia. They ship, by the way. So look them up and order some pepperoni rolls if you've never had them. You can also, there are also dozens and dozens of recipes online that you can Google. I mean, it's really the simplest thing to make. And if you use refrigerated bread, dinner rolls, and just kind of flatten those out, put your pepperoni in there, roll them up and bake them, you got it. I mean, that's all it is, really. It's very simple, but it's awesome, especially if you add some cheese in there. And there's a certain brand of Italian sausage and peppers that are Italian peppers and sauce, rather, from another North Central West Virginia establishment that also ships. Eat them with those. It's wonderful. Trust me.
And if Deb is still watching, remember when the Italian ladies served us at St. Martha's Grade School? On Fridays, we had pizza day. That pizza was the best. It was. I can still taste it today after 60 some years. Probably not as good as pepperoni rolls, but awful darn close. I have one more story I have to share with you.
Okay.
Go. Okay.
I'll give you 3 minutes.
Well, you know what? I will take as long as I want.
But I'm okay with that off. Okay.
Okay. This is for you, Jeff.
Ooh, child. Look at that.
San Francisco's Hunky Jesus contest stirs up controversy, community, and courage. The most popular Easter service in this capital of alternative living occurs not in church, but on the sloping lawns of Dolores Park, where thousands show up on Sunday in their Sunday best, which at the annual Hunky Jesus contest can mean steampunk bonnets, a life-size peep suit, or for those competing, elaborate and usually scantily Jesus and Mary costumes.
Tell them what they call Mary. Tell them what they call Mary.
What do they call Mary?
They call her Foxy Mary.
Okay.
It's Hunky Jesus and his mother, Foxy Mary.
Okay. Have you heard of this before?
No. I read up on it real quick.
Well, the event is hosted by the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. It's a global nonprofit group of drag nuns founded in San Francisco on Easter Sunday 46 years ago. Over the years, Hunky Jesus has expanded from a small anniversary celebration for the sisters alone to an all-day affair. Now, I want you to see all these people.
More than any of Trump's inaugurations. Look at that.
Today, the free festival includes a family egg hunt, musical acts, and a canonization ceremony in which community members are recognized for service. You mean they're given sainthood?
Yeah. Well, the sisters are a nonprofit from, and they have, I get convents, I guess you'd say, around the world where they do good works. And so, yeah, it's only right that they recognize some of the local folks in the area for the good that they do. So, yeah, how cool is that?
Well, it says right now, in a moment that requires courage and requires community, this is what our Easter definitely creates. Sister Mary Peter said, Merry. Over the years, she has encountered people from all walks of life at the Hunky Jesus contest, including, she said, traditional Catholic nuns. That kind of diversity creates courage, Sister Mary Peter argued, and you may be an Irish nun sitting on your picnic basket, but you may be next to a 300-pound drag queen in a giant pink Easter bonnet. And a picture I wanted to show you. Do you say that? Can I get a gay man? You see that?
Yeah.
Can I get a gay man? And House of Jesus. Now, look in the middle there. I did not know. Now, I'm pretty good on my Bible, but I did not know that Jesus wore high heels like that.
You didn't. I got nothing. I'm trying to come up with a damn good joke.
Are you trying to be good? Don't do that.
No, I'm not trying to be good.
I picked this story especially for you.
The only thing I can think of, and it kind of ties in with today being Good Friday, was Jesus had to kick those things off before he dragged that cross up the hill.
Yes.
So,
well, again,
that's
again.
It's important for us to remember. Yeah, it's important though to remember exactly what it was that he told us. He said, "I'll give you 2 great commandments that supersede everything else that Moses brought down off the mountain: love God, love your neighbor."
And again,
we got it covered.
And we don't mean to offend anyone, but again, that the whole idea that, again, in the gay community, the reason that there has been such backlash, again, has been because of religion. So, listen, man, I'd love to see this Sunday's crowd. It's probably going to be even larger. But yeah. But I did that for you. I did that for you, Jeff, because I care.
Well, thank you.
And guess what?
We're done.
We are done. Yep. So happy Easter to you and yours.
And
happy Easter to Lily.
Thank you.
Give her an extra head pat and an extra doggy bone.
She went to the spa last weekend.
Yes.
She got a bath and she got a haircut. She got her toenails did. And she's looking good.
Now, did she have the cucumbers on her eyes?
I don't know because I wasn't there for it. I left her there and went off to run an errand, and we came back and she was done.
She was beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeff, very much. Again, great show today. Why don't you give a plug in for the brand new show here on the New Thought Media Network?
Brand new show featuring moi and 2 of my colleagues, Reverend Joyful Fletcher and Bishop Darrell Watkins. Look for Divine Science Everywhere on Friday afternoons on your New Thought Media Network.
And it's at 4:00 Eastern.
4:00 Eastern,
right?
3:00 Central, 2:00 Mountain, 1:00 Pacific. But if you can't watch us live, the show's gonna be archived. You can go back. It's already up on YouTube, and you can catch up on what you missed. And we've got some really cool things planned. We've got some really great guests coming up. So, New Thought Media Network is become our family now. y'all did an excellent job in helping us to get this show started. So look for Divine Science everywhere.
Yeah, I even got to produce today.
Yeah. And you didn't
How'd I do? Did I do okay?
Yeah, you did okay. And
I was
like I said,
you
didn't bitch and moan about it like you usually do. So I probably shouldn't have said that. Now everybody's wondering, is it my show that he's complaining about?
Oh, that's all right. That's fine. Reverend Jeff, again, happy Easter to you and yours. And folks, we are all out of time here. Again, thank you so very much for joining us this evening. And we have a brand new way for you to get prayer requests into us. If you go to ntmedia.org/prayer, there's a wonderful form there you can fill out. The nice part about the form is that as soon as you hit send, our prayer team gets it immediately. There was a delay in the past because it was in someone's inbox. So fill out that form, we get the prayer request, and we pray for you for at least a week. That's prayer. If you go to ntmedia.org/prayer. All right. On behalf of all of us here at the New Thought Media Network, I'm Reverend Michael Mangus. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.